We are flying over the southeast coast of Greenland, a land of mountains, fjords, glaciers, and ice. Lots and lots of ice. Greenland is a land of glaciers, many of which empty directly into the sea. As the ice advances, huge chunks of the ice break off in a process referred to as calving. Because icebergs are made of frozen fresh water, they are less dense than either salt or fresh water, which makes them float. For that reason, you only see 10 to 12% of an iceberg visible above the ocean surface. As the icebergs drift out into the warmer Atlantic currents, they constantly melt, crack, and flip over, creating dramatic sculptured shapes, echoing cracking sounds known as white thunder. Greenland is also a land of mountains, even though most of its peaks are covered by the huge ice sheet. The island contains some of the oldest exposed rock on Earth, dating back to over 3.8 billion years, which is almost the age of the Earth itself. Greenland's fjords are ancient naturally sculptured valleys created by glacial erosion. During the past ice ages, massive tongue-like glaciers flowed downward from the interior ice sheet toward the sea. As these thick rivers of ice moved, they scraped away rock and soil with immense weight and friction. Unlike rivers, which carve narrow V-shaped valleys, slow-moving glaciers carved wide, steep-sided U-shaped valleys. Then, as the global climate warmed, the ice melted, the sea levels rose, flooding the deep U-shaped coastal valleys with water, creating the fjords we see today. Greenland is home to one of two of the Earth's ice sheets. The other is in Antarctica. Greenland's ice sheet covers 1.7 million square kilometers, which is roughly 80% of the entire island. And if that ice were to melt, sea levels would rise by around 24 feet. At its thickest point, the ice sheet measures over 1.9 miles deep. That's almost 2 miles deep of ice. The sheer weight of this ice actually depresses the central bedrock of the island below sea level. I recently visited Gotland, Sweden, where the opposite is actually happening. The island was once covered by a large glacier back in the last ice age, and the weight of it pushed Gotland deeper into the Earth's mantle. Since the ice has since melted, the island is slowly rising, causing some of its harbors to be less deep and less useful. These mountain tops sticking out of the ice are referred to as nunataks. Greenland's ice sheet is so thick that they completely bury entire mountain ranges, plateaus, and landscapes under thousands of feet of ice, and only the highest points peek out. This surface water on the glacier helps to create what is called a moulin. They are created when meltwater on the surface of the ice sheet collects in a depression and finds a weakness or crack in the ice. As the meltwater plunges down, it melts and drills a deep vertical shaft straight through hundreds or even thousands of feet of solid ice. Moulins act as natural drain pipes, plunging surface meltwater directly to the bottom of the glacier or ice sheet. Once it reaches the bedrock, it acts as a lubricant on the underside of the ice sheet, causing the entire glacier to move faster. Here we see two glaciers merging just before they reach the open water of a deep fjord. This fjord is quite spectacular in that it has at least 3 huge whirlpools or vortexes. They are caused by the diagram I have shown, where a glacial sill is just beyond the melt point of the glacier. A sill is basically the rock and debris that a glacier pushes forward of it as it advances. When temperatures warm and the glacier retreats, that bank of gravel and rock, also referred to as a terminal moraine, is left. What's happening here, that sill is forcing the water to the right, causing a lot of turbulence. A contributing factor also is that a lot of fresh water flows from underneath the glacier into salt water of the fjord. Since the fresh water is less dense than the salt water, it causes a lot of vertical currents as it rises to the surface. Another factor is a lot of high winds come off these glaciers. So the combination of the sill directing the water, the up currents of the fresh water meeting salt water, and the high winds all create this cyclonic effect and are whirlpools. Pretty cool. On this eastern coast of Greenland is the largest and longest fjord system in the world. It stretches 217 miles inland and plunges to a depth of 4,757 feet below sea level. It's almost a mile deep. Another amazing fact is, despite Greenland having a very sparse population, it boasts a massive, deeply indented coastline spanning roughly 27,390 miles, which is longer than the circumference of the Earth. Wow. So how did this land of rock and ice get the name Greenland? Greenland got its name from Eric the Red, a Norse explorer who established the first European settlement on the island in the late 10th century. Around 982 AD, Eric was banished from Iceland due to a series of murders. He sailed west into the North Atlantic. When his period of exile ended, Eric returned to Iceland to recruit people to settle the new land. Knowing he needed to convince people to leave their homes for a harsh, unknown Arctic frontier, he gave an intentionally inviting and appealing name, Greenland. While the vast interior was dominated by a colossal ice sheet, the sheltered fjords where Eric settled did have patches of green and vegetation, so they were able to make it a livable spot.